JG, what's going on? It's Josh K here, and I'm bringing you the post-week show for week 3. And I'm not gonna be the only Josh here. Say hello to my friend Josh. He's doing a lot of series here on this channel. Say hi, Josh.
Hey guys, what's going on?
And we're going to be doing the post-week 3 show together. So, Josh, take a look at this first game, Pioneers Blazers. It seemed pretty close, but Pioneers lost again. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the Pioneers have definitely been on a little bit of a slide overall, just in the history of their franchise. I mean, you think about it, they've been 0-16 last season, and now this season, they did win a game last week, though. It's still, I mean, you win when you can, but, I mean, this is really not good for the city of Richmond.
Yeah, not good at all. It's a big disappointment for anyone that lives in there who follows this league. But we'll move on to this game. You guys saw that. That was the Week 3 game, and that was a blowout from the start, I'd say. Right, Josh?
Yeah, definitely. You saw that game, and, I mean, B. Wildcat, too, he's a fan of this team. Anyone in that Fort Worth, anyone in Texas, anyone in that area, disappointing loss. But they were away there, and the Baboons, good win for them, breaking that losing streak to start the season.
Oh, definitely. Now the Baboons are 1-2. Condor still looking for their first win. We'll see if they get it in Week 4. But we'll move on to this next game in Week 3. Shamrocks and Vipers, 20-13. It seemed like a fairly close game. Shamrocks looks like they won away, so that's definitely a good win for them. And next game, this one was a blowout too. Meteor Stars. What do you think about that, Josh?
Yeah, 48-14. Very painful loss for the Stars. From what I know, they're a 67 overall team, and they're probably the worst team, if not definitely one of the worst teams right now in the JFL, and they're definitely showing that so far. Right now, they are 0-3 going into Week 4.
It's definitely arguable between them, the Condor, and the Pioneers, but I'd say Pioneers are probably the third worst team because, they actually have a win. But we'll see if the Stars get a win in Week 4. So we'll move on to yet another blowout. Wow, Wave win at home. They definitely won. 48-3, only they held the Nobles to a field goal. So, pretty much of a blowout. Yeah, Josh?
Yeah, there's, not much else to say. 48-3. You can check out more info on that on the website, juniperfootballleague.weebly.com. I want to thank HGTSun123, a little bit of a mouthful of a name there, for writing an article on this game for us. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And hopefully we can get more articles from you guys in the future. Though that really was a blowout and pretty much just a crazy game for the Nobles.
And if you look at the article, you could definitely see why the Wave won. They had quite a few touchdown passes, as you see right there. That's 6 scores, and so you could read more about that on the article. But we'll move on to a pretty and yet another, I wouldn't say, I guess, a blowout. The scores were definitely far apart. The Anaconda lost to the Lions away. And you saw the Lions, they lost to their rivals, the Wave, actually last week. And the Wave, they just bounced back from that loss, right, Josh? Yeah.
Yes, the Wave won last game, but the Lions and the Wave, two just really phenomenal teams, and it was a really close game last week, but here you see that both of them, in a really close game, they both get almost blowout, with the Lions and the Anaconda, the Wave with truly a blowout. The Lions and the Anaconda, though, not as devastating, though the Lions still pull off a really nice win.
I'm sure Dane Smith threw quite a few touchdown passes, I would assume, since, like I keep mentioning, he is the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion, at least. So we'll move on from that game. Killer Bees at Buffalo. As you see, Killer Bees won 20-13. And, pretty high-scoring game for the Junipers here. They lost, though, 34-44. I know you're a fan of the Junipers, Josh. How does that make you feel?
Well, it is a pretty tough loss. You score 34 points and then you lose 44-34, especially after they won that first game of the year against the Killer Bees. The Killer Bees bounced back in a 20-13 game, and then the Junipers kind of just slip, and, even though they did score 34 points there, that's still just a devastating loss for the Junipers, seriously.
They are 1-2 now after that. And we'll go to the Crocodiles and Boars. Crocodiles lost away 19-27, that is. And here, I think this is a battle between a division, the Suns and the Travelers. I believe they're in the same division. Don't quote me on that. I'm going off of memory right now. I don't remember exactly. But that's a lot of these games, they're not really close, it doesn't seem. Except for the Cherokees and Flame, which I'll get to below. So that was a little bit of a far game, as well as this Demons Pit Bulls. If I didn't mention the score, 34-13 Suns Travelers, and the Demons won 25-3 at home, and 25. That's an odd score, definitely. Literally because it's an odd number. Joke, but yeah, you don't see 25 a lot. But now we'll move on to this overtime game. The Flame actually lost in overtime, 7-10. And we'll take a look at this game, since it was an overtime game. And you see here, nobody scored really. Nobody scored at all in the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Kansas City definitely they got a touchdown there. You see right there. But we'll skip over to overtime. 29-yard field goal by Vincent won it. And I'm sure that was an exciting game to watch, right, Josh?
Definitely. And just going back one game to the game, the Pitbulls and the Demons, I also want to thank Two Clutch Gaming. He also wrote an article for this game, and similar to the Wave and the Nobles, that was a blowout game. This one not as much of a blowout, though if you want to check out more about that game, you can also read the article. Big thanks to anyone who wrote an article for us, and that's just a game that I want to note to those of you who are fans of the JFL.
Oh yes, definitely. I also want to thank them too. It makes me feel very happy that people actually enjoy this series, watch it. But we'll move on from that and we'll go to, this is a close game, Phoenix Spies. We'll take a look at that. It looks like a field goal won it for the Spies. Whoops, sorry, wrong thing here. But yeah, we'll take a look down here, and I was right. Boise got a field goal, 24-yarder by McNulty, and yeah, there's definitely a good win for the Spies, right, Josh?
Yeah, definitely. And special teams really took a major role in this game, and you can see there pretty much a majority of the points scored there. That was pretty much special teams courtesy to them,
Yeah, definitely. McNulty looks like he had a good game, but we'll move on from that game, and we'll move ahead to the Skyrays and Atomic. That was a close game too. I won't take a look at this though. It was 19-17, just to save time, because we're running a little bit long. But here we have another game, 23-6 Sharks and Owls, and the Sharks won pretty dominantly. Owls only got 2 field goals, it looks like, or they got a touchdown with no extra point, but that's not very likely. And that's the last game of the week, so we'll move on to the games in week 4. So take a look at this. Spies and Blazers, and the Condor and Owls, and hopefully the Condors maybe get their first win against the Owls. You think,
bounce back after 3 pretty upsetting games, especially this last one that you saw. I mean, they didn't score any points, and that's just disappointing to any of those fans out there.
They didn't score any points in the first week either, and that was their opener. And I believe they were home, so that's really not good for them. They really got to change something. Maybe they got to fire their head coach in the offseason. I mean, I personally would, but Any
suggestions, let us know. Shout out to B-Wildcat too, like I said earlier. He's the one fan that we have of the Condor. Let us know any feedback. Should we fire the coach, or, because we are every team. It's up to you guys, though, in terms of trades and whatnot. So let us know what we should do.
They definitely have their wide receiver, Tavares Seawood, to give up. I mean, it wouldn't be much of a give up. I mean, that's pretty much the entire team, I'd say, right there. But here, Demon Stars. That's probably, I'd say it's only interesting because it's a battle between undefeated and winless.
Yes.
Yeah.
See if the Demons can continue their dominance. I know Two Clutch Gaming, he's a fan of them. He wrote the article for that team in week 3 that we're wrapping up right now. And the Stars trying to bounce back after pretty devastating week 3, as you saw earlier, trying to get their first win. And the Demons trying to stay undefeated. Look out for that one, probably the game of the week this upcoming week.
And here you see another interesting game, Cherokee's Warriors. You might have seen an article on the Warriors in, I believe it was week 2, and it was talking about their halfback Kadarius Sanchez and how maybe he could lead the Warriors to a Super Bowl win. As if you know, the Warriors have made it 2 times to the Super Bowl, but they haven't won one, so that's disappointing for them, or maybe it's good for them.
Yeah, one of the notable points of that is that they're one of the few teams that has stayed consistent. A lot of teams have become an average team to a bad team, or a good to average, good to bad. This team has been consistently good, and they're continuing to show this here going into week 4 against the good Cherokee team we have here.
And here you see Lions. We were talking about them before against the winless Atomic, so that's probably a good game too. And there you see Josh's Junipers, Buffaloes, and the Junipers. The Junipers are going to be at home that game. And the Killer Bees and Crocodiles. And the Skyrays and the Vipers. Vipers yet to have a win. And the Nobles and the Boars. So maybe the Nobles can get another blowout win. Well, we'll see.
Well, they lost. They lost in a blowout win with dominating performance by the Demons, and they it was 48-3, I believe exactly it was. And hopefully they can bounce back. I mean, doesn't help that they're facing off against a 3-0 Boars team.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, that was a little bit of a slip of the tongue. Whoopsie. Okay, Wave and Travelers. That I don't want to sound a little biased or anything, but it seems like an easy win for the Wave. They have been great this year so far, and they're facing a 1-2 team, so that might be a win for them. And there you see Anaconda and Meteors, and the Pioneers and Flame, and Rhinos Pitbulls, and the Bulldogs at the Shamrocks, and that is the last game of the week. So those a few of those games look interesting, but as I mentioned up before, this is probably going to be the game of the week, and so we'll move on to the players of the week. So just looking from the scores from the last week, who do you think they're going to be, Josh? Any team that you think might get a player of the week?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was someone from the Rhinos or someone from the Wave really dominated. And, the Meteors, there you see the Suns, the Baboons. That's a little bit surprising. Well, you did see the Baboons in that the game of the week. And, I mean, they did dominate pretty good against the Condors. Though, I'm actually pretty surprised at the Wave, someone from the Wave or the, what's the team, the other team that had the blowout, the Wave, and not the blowout, but a lot of offense from the Rhinos.
Mm-hmm.
No one from either of those teams, which actually shocks me. The Suns had a pretty good game. Mm-hmm. So did the Baboons. You saw that, as I mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a little bit surprised by this.
Mm-hmm. And there you see NFC players, Clarence Barnes. You see his stats down there. 5 touchdown throws. Well, that breaks the record. That's a lot of touchdown passes in one game. That's a great accomplishment.
Yes. Oh, there you see another 5 touchdown game for J.W. Norris. Holy moly!
Damn!
I guess the Suns did have a really good game. Well, looks like we have a tiebreaker. Not tiebreaker, but we have a tie for JFL record. 5 touchdowns in a game. Dominating performance by Barnes and the quarterback for the Suns. Wow, Norris. That is. So wow, overlooked that definitely, and that's pretty shocking, actually. I was not aware of this.
Yeah, that's definitely a big shock to me, too. That's definitely a great accomplishment for both quarterbacks. And I wonder if they're going to play anytime later in the year. That definitely be a cool duel to see.
Yeah, probably have another high-scoring game like the Rhinos and the Junipers, which I just mentioned with the player of the game. We didn't see anyone, but they're definitely both deserving by a mile. So that was, wonder if they do play. That would be a pretty good game to see. Maybe see that later on, or maybe they can even meet up in the playoffs sometime.
Uh-huh. And we'll take a look quickly at standings. You see the Solemn Boars are in the top of their division, 3-0. Buffalo's 2-1, along with the Rhinos and Baboons, who are 1-2. And in the AFC South, Sharks 3-0, Cherokees 2-1, Owls and Pioneers 1-2. AFC East, there you see Newark Killer Bees 2-1, and everyone else is 1-2, including Josh's New York Junipers. That doesn't make it.
Still haven't gotten a win after that first week. Still really early in the season, though. You want to see them continue after that first game, but so far 2 losses after that.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely not good for them. And the Iowa Suns are 2-1, and the Wyoming Flame 1-2. Fresno Travelers 1-2, and the Condors, as you know,
dismal 0-3.
Yeah, disappointment to me. Salt Lake City Nobles 2-1, along with the Oklahoma City Skyrays 2-1, and Vermont Anaconda 1-2, and the Omaha Atomic are winless.
Yes, definitely the Atomic, as I mentioned. I believe they're a 67 overall, and that's just dreadful. I mean, you have other teams that, they're high 70s, they're low 80s. Those are pretty decent, at least, average teams. Though 67, that's just terrible.
Yeah, it really is, and that is definitely the exact opposite of the Lexington Demons, as they are undefeated right now. So their record, so their overall must be pretty high. They must have pretty good players. 3-0, Bulldogs 2-1, Meteors 1-2, and the Stars, as you saw there, they are winless. Yeah, that's pretty upsetting for them. San Antonio crying their eyes out. And Orlando Wave undefeated, as you know, of course. And Long Island Lions 2-1, along with the Shamrocks and the Vipers yet to get a win.
Yeah, to throw into the Lions, I mean, even though they're 2-1, it is actually better than that. I mean, in my mind, I mean, yes, they are 2-1, though really 2 wins that were pretty dominating wins, and then that one loss was, I believe it was overtime in the game of the week, facing off against a very good Wave team, so definitely much better than it shows on the stat books.
And you also got to talk about the Lansing Vipers. I mean, they're in a very tough division. I mean,
Yes,
it's tough
they
for
are.
them to get a winner. Look at all those teams. What are they going to do with themselves?
Hey, with a smart draft, then maybe they could become a better team, you know?
They definitely could. I'm not sure what they need. I'll take a look at their depth chart, maybe not on camera. They probably need a few things. Offensive line, I think, is a weak point for them. But here you see, finally, Little Rock Warriors undefeated. Hopefully they can make it to the playoffs and maybe get a Super Bowl win. But they have to take on Blazers in their division, who are 2-1, the Spies and the Phoenix as well, as they are 1-2.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that this is one of the weaker divisions, because usually most of these divisions have at least 3, at least average or better. This team, you have the Spies and the Phoenix, which are both subpar, and the Blazers aren't amazing either, so I would see the Warriors pretty much dominating this division, unless the Blazers can pull something out of nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have a decent shot. I mean, they don't have a terrible team. They have a great team. They have a team that maybe take them to the playoffs, maybe not.
Never know.
Yeah, we'll never know with a team like that. But we'll just quickly take a look at the JFL stats, even though it says NFL, whatever. Sorry if this is running a little bit long. But here you see overall rating 111.6 for PJ James, and the most passing yards is 968 by none other than Dane Smith.
Yes, one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best, I would say, in the JFL currently.
Definitely, and he also is in the league for touchdowns, which is actually surprising because you saw two other quarterbacks they threw for 5 touchdowns and they're still not in the lead. So
Yeah, you do see Norris M. Barnes there, though, who were leading. They did have the 5 touchdowns, so looks like they each had only 2 in the first 2 games. So that's actually a little disappointing.
yeah, it is a little bit disappointing for them. And you see, the person with the most interceptions is, well, not a shock to me, Brendan Ziegler.
That's really disappointing.
Insult to injury, no touchdowns either. So
Wow.
you see, this guy Damon Winter, the Hornets quarterback. At least he has touchdowns.
Killer bees.
Yeah, Killer Bees. That's what I meant. Did I say Hornets?
Yeah.
Same animal. Whatever. Okay.
Animal.
Rushing yards, we have, well, not -4. Lamonte Webb, 375. And the best overall is Dion Charles, who is 8.4. Most running touchdowns is Marshall Mack with 4. It also tied Kadarius Sanchez, the Warrior, with 4 as well.
Trying to bring his team to a successful Super Bowl run after losing the past 2 years. Hopefully he's that key missing piece, as you read in Week 2, to their team.
Yes, definitely trying to help his team out. As you see, Rajon Simpson is definitely doing that with 359 passing yards. And the most touchdowns caught by wide receiver is Jacob Waters, Cystic Docious the Lion, and Zanil Gates the Wave. So definitely 3 offensive teams right there you could definitely see.
Yeah, I'm sure if you go back to receiving yards and you go see who's in the lead there, I'm sure it's a Suns that is Rhino's player. I'm sure that he had a dominant role in that 44-34 game.
Yeah, probably. He has 2 passing touchdowns here, but now we'll go to the offensive line, and Scott Hunt is still in the lead with 7 pancake sacks, and Jackson Soto is giving up 5 sacks with 1 pancake block, so his quarterback's getting a lot of pressure. Definitely not good for Soto. And now the defense will quickly grow through this. Most tackles is Brian Carjarla, 42 tackles.
And to go with that, he's also hot, so that makes matters better for the Boars.
Definitely.
And they are going into Week 4 3-0, so he could definitely help them out being hot and leading the league in some good stats.
And he's also in the league for stats, league leader for stats, too.
Stats?
I mean, league leader for
Sacks.
sacks. Yeah, okay. And a lot of people have 2 interceptions. I'm not even going to go into that. And we'll see who has the most kicks made or not attempted made. It's Eric Riley.
And he broke the record actually last week with 7 field goal attempts for 7 successful field goals. And that's definitely good for him in the stat book. Definitely a very pleasing sight for him. And he also helped out the Warriors trying to get them into a good Super Bowl run, as we keep on emphasizing, because, I mean, like we keep on saying, and we wrote an article or two on them, this is a critical year for them, because, I mean, before you know it, their division's going to get better, and time's running out.
And speaking of Warriors, guess who's in the lead for yards? Not the Warriors. But I saw the Warriors somewhere. Oh, gosh. They were somewhere. You saw them. I'm not going crazy. But punting yards, you see Colin Honeycutt is still in the lead.
By a lot.
Yeah, by a lot, over 100 yards. And he's hot, so he's definitely doing good in his punting job.
And speaking of the Warriors, actually, the Cherokees are facing out against the Warriors, so he could be a threat to them in this upcoming game in Week 4.
Definitely a possibility, yes. Punter, they play more of a vital role than you might think, because they do determine where you start the ball, when you go 3 and out or whatever.
And you did see Week 1 punt returning. That was pretty much all of Week 1 in the JFL. That was where scoring was dominant, you know?
Oh, yes. And speaking of that, you see Douglas Lawrence still has his 2 punt return touchdowns, and that in itself will get you to the Pro Bowl just with that right there. And he probably might even get more.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going into Week 4 now, so you never know.
And he's on the Boars, who are undefeated, so that he's definitely been contributing to that. And that'll bring an end to this post-week 3. Thanks for watching this. It was definitely a little bit longer than usual, but I thought it was definitely some interesting conversation, right, Josh?
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys are interested in doing the post-week show with us, well, it would be with Josh probably. I might jump in every now and then, though. I definitely enjoyed this experience. If you guys want me to do more of these with Josh, let me know. If you want to be involved, you have to have a Skype, and then you won't have the screen in front of you, though you will have all the game stats. Basically, Josh will rattle things off, and you'll just give your opinion on it, kind of like what I was doing today. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I know it was fun for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it a little bit.
Yes, it was definitely a good experience for me, too, rather than just me spitting out stats and talking to myself. So that'll wrap things up. Thanks for watching this a lot. So this is Juniper Gaming, Josh K.
And Josh L.
So we're out.
See you guys.